everybody, happy Tuesday. All right, so since it's Tuesday, I'm coming at you live. So today I'm going to be talking, about like I usually do, like content tips and how to write things and social media marketing. Today I wanted to focus on headlines. This is something that I've been dealing with in my business recently. I've been working on moving into like Facebook ads with my team, which is super scary, but I've been researching more into headlines because I want to make them count. And it reminded me that this is a super important thing and one of the most important things that you will write when it comes to your posts. Now, of course, in social media, you don't have a headline like you would like a blog or your website necessarily, but those opening lines are super important. So I wanted to go into that today for the training on how to write a killer opening line. And I have tons of examples to make it super practical and easy for you to do. And I will be giving you bookkeeper specific examples that you can take using your own business. Have at it. I want you guys to succeed. Anyways, so I'm going to tell you why it matters. I'm going to give you 4 tips to remember, all with examples, 3 quick hacks for effective headlines, also with examples, and then 4 bookkeeper examples. And then I also have more resources, articles, books, tools. I had them listed in the description of this video. I don't know if it's up here or up here, however you're watching this. In the description at the bottom, there's more resources, a book, articles, and I will talk about those as well too. So let's jump in and talk about why a good opening line or a good header matters. Okay, this is something that copywriters have been dealing with forever. So this is a well-known problem among copywriters. It's a problem they've been dealing with for a long time. They've tested things. This is something there's like a century heritage of trying to get right. So it's not an unknown thing. So because of that, there's a lot of research out there and people who have created formulas and examples for you to work from. So the saying goes in the copywriting world is on average, I posted this, before this video. On average, 8 out of 10 people will read your headline, but only 2 out of 10 will read the rest. So you see what a big difference that is? Okay, 8 out of 10 people may read the beginning of your post, but then only 2 of them will go on to read the rest. Now that's an average. It really depends, but you can bring the 2 people who read the rest, you can bring that number up if you're strategic about these headlines. Again, there's a heritage of dealing with this problem of headlines. It's not hard. It's just adding certain elements and hitting certain points. It's just strategy. It's just making sure that you are basically baiting the hook with the right bait. But remember, you're trying to get them to read your full post. You guys see that I write a lot of long posts, but I try very hard to make sure that the first line is very compelling, brings them in, things of that nature. I know copywriters who say they spend actually more time writing the very first line of their content or the head time. Just that one line alone, they'll spend way more time drafting that than the rest of the article, because if they can't get you in the door, you won't read the rest. So that's one reason why it matters, because that's a common problem. You have to hook them from the beginning or you won't read the rest. It's dead in the water. And then also, from a social media perspective, think about it. Only so much of your text is visible before the little ... the ellipses. So you gotta give them a good reason fast to click that ... see more. So sometimes it's appropriate to do like a super short post, but a lot of times to get into the story and engage them on an emotional level, you really have to find a way to get them to go past that, the couple of lines on Facebook. Again, how much they see on a social media platform depends on where you are. Is it a profile? Is it a page? Is it Instagram? Is it Facebook? Is it LinkedIn? It varies, so you'll kind of have to play around with it. So for example, you guys know that I post about my business on my profile and on my page, and I've noticed that when I post the exact same content between the two, a lot more of the first, I think 3 full lines will show up on my profile. The same post, I'll get maybe a line and a half. So there's differences between the platforms, between the pages, as far as what they're going to see. So you really have to leverage that first line, that first space to get them in. Again, it's not hard, it's strategies. I mean it when I say hacks. It's just like adding little tweaks and elements here to get them to keep reading, to interact with you, to leave comments, things of that nature. I mean, think about it. Your post is kind of like, it's a story. Think about when you pick up a book. And this is coming from someone who was, I was raised going to libraries. My mother worked at Barnes & Noble for years. So I was picking up books all the time to see, do I care about this? Do I want to read this? This is also, when I was a kid, and I'm an old fogey and, pre-internet, all that stuff. You pick up a book And if you're not hooked by the first like paragraph or so of a book, it's just like, I don't think I want to spend my time on it. It's just how it works when you're trying to tell a story and get people engaged. So that's why it matters. You have to get them in the first lines for them to get the rest. So spend time on it, add the strategies. So, okay, I'm gonna give you 4 tips with examples, and then 3 hacks, and then I'll do the bookkeeper examples, okay? So again, this isn't hard, it's all totally achievable, and there's even formulas for this stuff. Again, this is a known problem with known strategies. Don't worry about it. Just follow what works. Number one tip to keep in mind for your headlines, make sure you're talking to your audience. There's the phrase, when you talk to everyone, you talk to no one. So don't make your headline too broad. Don't try and include everyone to the headline. Make sure that you're talking to just someone specifically. I a lot of times will talk just specifically to bookkeepers or mention just bookkeeper businesses because they're the ones I'm talking to, and I'm okay with everyone else tuning out. They're not the ones I'm trying to talk to. Know who you're talking to. And think about it. The benefits that the way you talk to a stay-at-home mom will be very different from a single college guy. You know what I mean? So that's why it matters. It's make sure you're talking to the right person that you want to be talking with. Another tip to keep in mind, promise a specific or interesting benefit. So let them know why it's worth their time to click the ... see more. Let them know right away, this is why you want to keep reading. So you can offer a solution to a problem, especially if it's like faster or easier than X, or say something kind of strange and unresolved. I kind of like this one. You can invoke curiosity, do kind of a cliffhanger. An example that I came across that I liked, how moving to Iowa improved my sex life. And you think about that, it's just like, it's a weird statement, right? It's not very common, and you really do think like, how do those two things go together? So it's an unusual pairing of ideas, it gives interest, and so you're just like, okay, I'll click the ... see more. I want to know where this is going. So this is what I mean. You're promising that when they click it, it's worth their time. So try and explain that as quickly as possible. Offer them a solution. I will get more into the examples of that. So promise a benefit. Make it worth their time, make it entertaining, make it helpful. Also, avoid writing clickbaity headlines. Don't do things like, you'll never believe, or earn $1 million overnight. Don't do that. Through your headlines, you're building trust, you're building relationships, remember. So you don't need to be clickbaity. Don't mislead, don't exaggerate, because you'll lose trust over time. People are going to see that and be like, she doesn't really mean it, I'm not going to follow through. So don't over-exaggerate. Get their attention, but don't over-exaggerate. So a really good way to keep that credibility, to build that trust, use the phrase like almost always. 6 tips that almost always lead to more followers, or something like that. Do you see how it's different? You know, it feels a little more authentic. It's just like, okay, we can wrap our head around that. It's just like, okay, that makes sense. Not, you know, most of the time this works, and that feels true to how real life is. We're kind of wary of like 100% guarantee no matter what. But almost always, okay, I can get on board with that. And it builds trust that way, right? It's just a little trick. And then also another tip, use emotion. Now, I've talked about this before. I know that for some people who like to write shorter posts that are more to the point, especially like my bookkeeper people, like you guys love to be practical and give tips and you're analytical, and I love you to pieces for it. And I really want you to be able to tap into this because it will really help your content stand out. It'll really help you connect with your clients better. Remember, this is a strategy. Remember, this is about how our brains work. So don't shy away from this. Try and learn how to do it. Again, there are formulas for it. If you're uncomfortable with it, look up how to speak to emotional benefits and stuff like that. We use our emotions to make decisions and make them faster. So that's a strategy. That's why it matters. And 2, when we buy things, we buy first with emotion, then back up with reason. Emotion is right up here. We have to think about trying to appeal to them right here. So I know it feels weird and it may not feel natural at first. It is a strategy. It's how our brains work. So I'm just trying to help you with that aspect. So one part of using emotion is speaking to emotional benefits. Now, what the frick does that mean? This is something like feeling appreciated, feeling accomplished, feeling safe. Oh, good, Tracy. I'm glad it's helpful. Feeling part of a community, feeling in control, feeling happy, wanting to avoid pain, things of that nature. I know it's kind of all over the map because there's a lot to it, but it's just like the feelings that we're searching for in our lives. So here's some examples because this really helped me as I was going through this research. So headlines that like tap into emotional benefits, for example. Sorry, I thought I was gonna burp. Sorry, gross. So one example: a limited number of spaces are still available for Founders Circle membership. Okay, so you're not only getting into exclusivity, so that community thing, you're also sense of belonging, community. It's just like if you want to get into this place, I want to feel like I belong. I want to feel part of community. That's how it translates. A limited number of spaces are still available for the membership. Oh, okay, I want in on this. Another example, you've worked hard all week, now indulge yourself. So this emotional benefit is just like, I want to feel pampered. I want to feel justified in being entitled. And it's just like you're tapping into those feelings. You are, that's what you're connecting with, and that's how you write it. Another example is how to survive and yes, even thrive in a recession. So something that's on people's minds, and also it's tapping into their wanting to feel safe, wanting to feel financially secure. You can tap into those feelings, and when people see that, it triggers those emotional benefits. Again, this is about accessing, the way our brains work when it comes to making decisions. We want to be able to talk to people in that way. And another way that may be a little bit easier than using, those specific structures, try to at least start with using more emotional words. Now, I have a book that's recommended in the description at the end of this post. You'll see it's called Words That Sell, and a lot of them are emotional words. There's also a link to an article that gives a list of emotional words. Use them. If nothing else, start out with trying to incorporate those into your headlines. Emotional words about money would be free, sale, profitable, affordable, value. Emotional words about like being special, unique, and wonderful. Again, emotional words about being scarcity. Remember, like limited membership, limited spaces, exclusive, rare, last chance, secrets. You see how it kind of like, ooh, maybe I want to be a part of this. So these are emotional words that tap into the emotional benefits, into the emotionally processing part of our brain. Emotional. Don't shy away from it. It works. It's a strategy. It's how we communicate, and I want to equip you with that. So the 4 tips: talk to your audience, promise a specific or interesting benefit, avoid clickbait, and use emotion. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to hacks. Again, these are very easy to employ. It's just, it's just using them. So 3 quick hacks. I'm going to use examples for you too, then we'll move on to the bookkeeping examples. Number 1, use quotations. This is a favorite one of mine. It's super easy. So when I'm sharing a story, like in a post, and it's a dialogue with someone else, I like to make the first line a out of context quote. Recently I shared a post where the first line of it was a quote saying, "But when will I be good at Hebrew?" And it's the middle of this conversation I had with my boyfriend about, struggling with Hebrew, and then tying it back to the struggle of building a business and not knowing when it'll end, same with learning this language, la la la. What I did was I started with a quotation, because, and you'll see that at the beginning of novels too, it's just like they'll jump right into a dialogue, and you'll want to know, what is this character doing, thinking, why are they reacting this way, saying this thing? It encourages curiosity. Another good way to use quotations, it's great for testimonials. So if you're trying to put up a sales post and you're talking about like the transformation, Marina, very useful since I'll start my online business soon. Your posts and tips are saving me a lot of time. Yay, I'm so glad. Yay, I'm happy to hear that, Marina. But anyways, testimonials. If you're trying to share a post that's pumping up the value of what you're doing, you're trying to sell something, promote a program, start out with a testimonial in quotes. Let someone else talk for you. Put it up there and then go into your offer. Something about quotes, it gets you engaged. I love starting with quotes. sorry, I have a Hebrew lesson later and I'm getting WhatsApp messages from that. So that's a hack. Start with a quotation. Another hack, use numbers. This is one of the easiest things you can do, okay? Use numbers in your first line, in your headline. It is so easy because not only does it lead to an easier structure of the post in general, whether that's a social media post or a blog post, it's so easy. So for example, if you have something shorter like a social media post, use numbers like 3 and 5. For some reason we like odd numbers. I don't know why, that's just what the research says. So numbers like 3 and 5 are good, especially 3. We love the number 3. I use that all the time in my content. If you're doing like a blog or something like that, maybe you use the number 10. We like the number 10 as well. But numbers do a lot of things, and one of the best things that numbers do is they give very clear, concrete expectations. 5 ways to cope with stress, 3 tips to automate your bookkeeping. So you know exactly how long you're going to be reading. It's just like, and then you can, not only that, but it's a natural indexing of the article. You know how you see a 10 tips blog, and you may go down from subtitle to subtitle and wait until you see, oh, this 4th one, this looks interesting, and then you'll zoom in on that. It really organizes in a way that we understand, that makes it easier. We are skimming people. This is something I've talked about when it comes to blogs and websites. You want to use subtitles. You want to help people skim longer posts. So make that clear promise. Include that number at the beginning. It's great. So easy. See? That's why it's a hack. And then my 3rd hack I would tell you is ask questions. This is another favorite of mine. I use it all the time. And when you're thinking of questions, think of things like a journalist. This is who, what, where, when, why, and how. And I've got examples for this. People want to know what's in it for me, and also questions engage them in a conversational frame of mind. The difficulty, of course, with social media is when you put up these posts, it's a one-way conversation. You're just kind of like going out into the universe with a bullhorn, but it's just like they're not talking back to you. So in order to better help them engage with you, if you ask a question at the beginning, it gets them engaged more in a dialogue frame of mind and brings them into the conversation, because that's what you want in social media, in your content. So ask a question. This isn't a question, but it's a good example. Think of the Dale Carnegie book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's using one of the journalism questions. It's giving promising a solution. It's a fantastic title. But in this questions frame of mind, you can say it in a way of, who else wants a great WordPress theme? Okay, great. How to do a boring task that leads to a rewarding benefit. So how to get a mortgage that saves you money. Ask questions, use those journalism questions. Who, what, where, when, why, and how, especially how. Because you're telling people this is how you get to the solution. I am breaking it down for you, making it easier. How is a really good one. So, what are the 3 hacks again? Let me scroll back. 1, use quotations. Start out with a quote. Easy. Number 2, also easy. Use numbers. Do a list post, stuff like that. And number 3, ask questions. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. Ask a question. Get them engaged. Now, I'm going to go to bookkeeper specific examples. Now, again, something that you can do, and I don't have, in this live, but Google headline formulas. You're going to find stuff, and it's super helpful. I've downloaded lists from paid courses, free courses, articles. Just Google headline formulas, and you'll find tons of stuff that will walk you through it. And I'm going to go through a couple examples right now and transform them into bookkeeper specific openers and stuff like that. So helpful. Again, copywriters have been dealing with this nonsense for a long time, and they've got a lot of stuff that they've shown works. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Use it. Okay, four bookkeeper examples. 1, this formula is who else wants blank? It's a question, it's a one of those journalism words, stuff like that. So who else wants blank? Okay, how do you transform that in a bookkeeper sense? Okay. Who else wants to stop worrying about tracking their expense receipts? There you go, that's something interesting. It's something that I have to deal with as a business owner. If you're reaching out to other business owners, it's probably something that they're dealing with. There you go. So number 2, here is a method that is helping blank to blank. Okay, so here's a method that is helping blank to blank. You're promising a benefit, how to get it done. Here's here's a method that is helping small businesses. Okay, so that's what you're talking to with your client. What are you helping them to do? Helping small businesses, increase their profits. So who are you talking to and how are you trying to help them? There you go. Here's a method that is helping blank to blank. Here's a method that is helping small businesses increase their profits. Again, it's promising a benefit. Remember we talked about that? All right, so that's example 2. Example 3, little known ways to blank. We like knowing secrets. We like knowing hacks. I very intentionally entitled this 7 Secrets. It's an appealing thing to us. It's just like not everyone knows it. It's a quick way, a short way, whatever. So little known ways to blank, you feel exclusive and stuff like that. So one way to transform that into bookkeeping, little known ways to automate your business bookkeeping. It's exclusive, it promises a benefit. Bada bing, bada boom. There's your post, right? And then number 4 for bookkeeper example, here's the formula. Here's a quick way to insert problem. Okay, here's a quick way to, so what would that look like in a bookkeeper perspective? Okay, we like fast solutions. We like solutions. You see, this is one of the elements. Here's a quick way to save an hour a week on your bank statements, right? It's pretty good, right? Here's a quick way to save an hour a week in your bank statements. Ta-da! It's not that hard. Find a list of formulas, use these formulas, and just refill in the blanks over and over and over again. You don't have to remake the wheel, you don't have to do anything crazy. Just use the strategies, use the formulas. It really is just kind of like almost like copywriting math. And then I promised you there are 5 resources. I have them listed in the description. Headline generator from the Hoth. I haven't used this one recently. As you get better at it, you may not need it as much, but it helps walk you through, it's a tool walking you through like who are you talking to, what are the benefit you want to do, and it will actually help generate ideas for you. It's a very clever tool, especially if you're not confident with this, so look that up. The Co-Schedule Headline Grader. I use this all the time. They also have an email subject line specific one. It's super helpful. It tells you if you need to add more emotional words, if it's too long, if it's too short, things of that nature. So Co-Schedule Headline Grader 3. This is a very specific one that I like just because I come from, grammar Nazi world. Title case. I have the link below. But if you're trying to figure out what's capital, what's lowercase for like a blog or something like that, there's a website that specifically handles that for you, just like that. It's really good. Hands are dry, I can't snap. And then again, like I said, more about emotional headlines and words. There's a link to that specifically here. Super helpful. Go in there, raid the word bank, and use it. And also a book suggestion. This is a reference book, so it's not, you have to do a bunch of reading. You just flip through it and search words by category, like words about money, words about sales, words about authenticity, and it'll help supply fresher words, better words, more reactive words. It's written by a seasoned copywriter. It's called Words That Sell by Richard Bayan. I pop in there from time to time when I feel like I need a little more zest, whatever, to mix up my vocabulary. Super helpful. Anyways, that is what I have for you guys. Those are 7 secrets to writing killer opening line for your posts with examples. See what I did there? Anyways, I hope that helped. Again, I've got lots of resources in the descriptions here. Check those out. And if you have any questions, just reach out. And if you don't want to bother writing this stuff and you're a bookkeeper, again, I have the content membership. I've also got that in the description of the post. Sign up and you can just stop worrying about this. It's all pre-written, it's all strategic, and it's helped a bunch of bookkeepers get more clients, sometimes double their client base, and just saves them a ton of time. Makes it a lot easier because it takes some time to sit down and think about this. It's definitely doable, but if you want to save time and don't want to think about it, I'm your girl, I got you covered. Anyways, I have to run to my Hebrew lesson, but hopefully that helped. Again, if you need anything, just let me know. And I hope you have a lovely Tuesday, and I will talk to you later. Bye.